So when you got out of high school, did you think most of your business would be in Mexico?
No, absolutely not.
Tradesmen built America. Not policymakers or desk jockeys, but hardworking, blue-collared men and women. Join me, Roger Wakefield, on conversations with some of the nation's most successful skilled laborers. This is the Trade Talks. Okay, but I look at you on social media. You're there a lot. We were actually in Mexico together a couple of weeks ago.
And we didn't get to
Couldn't
link
get
up.
together.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean together, but I'm there. You've got to post. You're in
Yeah.
Playa del Carmen Cabo San Lucas, right? Was it Cabo or was it
Cabo? I was
Where
in
were we
Cabo
at?
because my best friend bought a restaurant in Cabo, so I was there in like October-ish, but usually I'm in Playa.
Okay, Playa.
So,
okay,
yeah.
So, yeah. God, was it Playa? Is that where we were when I said we're in the same
Playa
place?
del Carmen. Yeah, we were in Playa.
I couldn't remember because it was, I went to Playa del Carmen in Cancun for YouTube, then went back home for a week, then got on a cruise, then went to Puerto Vallarta, Mazatlan, La Paz, and Cabo San Lucas.
Oh, I love that.
And it was just like, oh my gosh, this was amazing.
Yeah. You travel a lot like me, so you can't even keep up with where you were at when you were there. I'm like, what are we, a week into February? I'm like, I've already been on 6 flights this year.
I've probably been on about as many.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my YouTube coach travels the world. Have you ever watched the show The Chosen? Mm-hmm. He's an executive producer on that.
Wow.
And he's also Mr. Beast YouTube coach. And we were at the event in Cancun, and he's talking, he's introducing me to come up and speak. And he says, and I'm going to bring up the only other person in the room that probably travels more than I do. And it's crazy because I never thought I'd travel like this.
Yeah.
But you do a lot in Mexico, and you're finding a way to grow a business and make good money there.
Because I love to be there, right? That was the thing, is I was like, how can I make this make sense for me to spend more time here? Because it expands my mind, it expands my soul. It's really my investments in Mexico. I like to tell people it was more of a soul investment, but also the appreciation over there was not looking shabby. So I fell in love with the process, but to go through an experience where you drop into a foreign country, where you don't know the language, where you don't have relationships. I just started with one relationship and the next one and the next one and the next one. And now, I'm 3 years in. I have some of the best, strongest relationships with the largest developers in Quintana Roo, with an amazing attorney there. The whole thing. Yes. Yeah. There's so much beauty. And I just want to travel. Now that the train Maya's open, I'm like, there's no reason I don't just jump on that train and just hit every stop and just a couple nights every stop.
What is the train Maya?
The train Maya is the new train that they just built that runs through Quintana Roo. So now you really don't have to choose. Do I want to go to Cancun or to Playa del Carmen or to Tulum? Or even I have 2 eco-friendly intentional developments down in Bacalar on the border of Belize and Mexico. So that is a magic town. There's 138 magic towns in Mexico, beautiful blue lagoons. It's literally magic in Bacalar. But most people, it's just starting to kind of hit on Instagram and stuff, where Tulum was about 10 years ago, right? Where like it's starting to catch the social hype. But before then, it wasn't really accessible to tourism because you would have had to fly into Cancun, be crazy like me and you, rent a car and drive 4 hours down the Federale through the jungle with no cell phone service. Me too. I'm like, I got in the car and I went.
Here we go.
But your average American is probably, there you go.
They're not rednecks from Texas. It's like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, I know. We're like, let's go.
I know.
But most people wouldn't do that, right? So now to have the opportunity where you can fly into Cancun or Tulum, because the Tulum airport also just opened last year. And now you have a train that connects all of these cities. So I think it's beautiful because you can really have not just a Cancun experience or a Playa del Carmen experience or go to Tulum, but the train really makes it possible where you can jump on public transportation and go to experience all of these places.
See, I didn't know that, because literally when we're there, we flew into... Make sure I get this right. We flew into Cancun. We Ubered, taxied. Shuttle from Cancun to Playa Car.
Okay.
Spent 3 days in Playa Car. One of the days went over to Cozumel.
Nice.
Came back And because I love seeing it all.
Me too.
And that is neat. I didn't know the train was there, so I'm going to have to check into that now.
Yeah. I would love for you to come down and see Bacalar if you've never been there.
Oh, God, no, I've never been. But I'm like, yeah, tell me when I'll be there. I just hop on a plane.
That is really real Mexico, right? Like I'm talking indigenous Mayan people that it's still very, like tourism is starting, but we're on, my attorney said, Kimba, investing in Bacalar today is like investing in Cancun 50 years ago.
Wow.
Or Playa del Carmen 30 years ago, or Tulum 15 years ago. It's on that Riviera Maya coastline stretch all the way down to Belize.
Isn't that amazing? God, it's beautiful.
So beautiful. And so my land there, I tell my kids, I'm like, this is not land I will ever sell. Y'all will inherit it. Watching what the numbers are doing, you know, when you look at what land is going for price per, because we do square meters in real estate in Mexico. So in Playa del Carmen versus what it is in Bacalar, and then you start to watch infrastructure grow all this area together. Like we see what's happening, right? For appreciation over the next 5, 10, 15 years. And then someday, hopefully I'll be giving my babies the land that is like I bought Cancun 50 years ago, right?
You bet.
So I've been spending a lot of time down there, and honestly, that business has just allowed me and afforded me the opportunity that when I'm in Mexico, I usually am making money, not spending money. And what an amazing way to build a life by design, you know, and that's what I share with people. I'm like, your life and your version of success is independent and unique to you. So whatever you're building, I see this a lot in the trades where people start building and they end up building their own prison. They chase the dollar so hard that they forgot about peace and happiness and what is really my truth and what is my idea of success, because we accidentally wrap, and I'm guilty of this, right? That's why I'm passionate about this topic, because I was building my success around what other people viewed as successful. Therefore, what I was building was very ego-based. Right. And about 3 years ago, God took it all from me. And anything we build on quicksand
disappears.
That's right. And so when I had to rebuild and restart over about 3 years ago, I really stepped back and took that assessment of like, what is success to me? And what is my purpose that I actually want to leave to the world? And what is the life that I actually want to live and experience? And the truth to me is, like, when I'm over there, I feel the most calibrated. I feel the most balanced. I feel the most me. There's something about the jungle and the ocean, and I call it where the jungle kisses the beach. It's like just so perfectly. But that's why I built a business there, Rogers, because I'm like, man, like this is really where I truly feel the most me, the closest to God. And that is my version of success, is just peace and connection right now. And then everything else that I build from here is done through alignment, not necessarily forcing or chasing right now. So it's a really beautiful season that I found myself in.
I love that.
Thank you.
Now, you were a roofer.
Yeah. I might.
You're still associated with it. You sold your roofing company though, didn't you?
I did in August.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
But I did.
See, I keep up with you.
You do. I'm like, wow.
How did
your homework.
Know? How did he? No, and I didn't.
You're like, no, I just know you.
I don't want to do the homework because I don't want it to be scripted and rehearsed and think about this, think about this, think about this. But no, I watch you on social media. I see things happening.
Yeah. So I haven't announced this really to anybody yet, but the owners that bought my roofing company just asked me, they just gave me an offer to be the director of Dallas, the market director in Dallas. So I did just accept that opportunity. So I am going to run through storm season with them and get the Dallas market. Yeah, I did. I got a job that I'm pumped about though, because that's the thing. I founded that company. And, you know, we can kind of get into the whatever direction the conversation flows, right? But I sold it also, again, due to what I was just talking to you about. It's very stressful, right?
Let's come back to that.
Okay, yeah.
Why roofing? What made you pick what? And I probably know, but what made you think, hey, I'm going to be a roofer?
Yeah. So the beautiful thing about the roofing industry, I call it the land of the misfits, because like none of us were writing down on our little kindergarten paper, like, what do I want?
Nobody ever wrote down, I want to be a plumber when I grow up.
No.
I'm telling you. Right? Yeah, I get that.
I was going to be an astronaut.
Okay. I was going to be a professional football player, but...
My youngest, my 11-year-old Blaze, is also, he's going to the NFL. I'm like, rock on.
I was there.
We're already training for it.
I get it.
So I love that. Yeah, I actually am still going to be an astronaut when I grow up.
Good. But you're just going to buy a ticket on Musk's satellite and say,
I
here we
would
go.
too. That's the crazy thing about me is that's my dream so hard that if they were like, you can go to space, you may or may not come back. I would really have to evaluate that as a mom because it would be so hard for me still not.
And it may be not right now, but baby, once you're 18, guess where I'm going?
Yeah, once you got this on your own, I got to go. We got life insurance. You'll be okay if I don't make it. But to see the world from that perspective, right? Wow. So that was my plan. I'm going to look at the world from space. And then next thing you know, I'm climbing roofs, meeting adjusters, arguing over depreciation, right? But the roofing industry for me, we all got here a certain way. Mine is an interesting story, and I want to lead with the fact that roofing industry, fun fact 1, 14% is female, 1% are females that are either in an ownership or leadership role.
Wow.
So I did not know that when I jumped into the roofing industry because I didn't know anything about what I was doing at all. I didn't come through this lens of like, I was exposed to the roofing industry or I sold roofs or my dad was an adjuster or, I had zero peek into this before I just did it. So I was a hairstylist for 10 years. My first company I ever owned.
I'm just saying.
I can tell. But my first business was actually a hair salon. So I started that when I was 21 years old, rented a space, built out some booths, had some other hairstylists working for me, put a little boutique in there. I had a tattoo artist that worked for me and I was just a little hippie hairstylist for 10 years, book nerd, handing out if I'm not doing hair, I'm laying in my hammock, reading my books. I'm a nerd, but a hippie nerd kind of thing. I love to learn. I love to study.
Top 3 books for people thinking about going into business.
Okay. So I think one of my top books for humans that before you do anything, before you can CEO any business, you have to understand, you have to CEO yourself first, right? So I'm going to go with Untethered Soul is my absolute favorite book. There's also Traction was one of the first books that I read for business specifically. That I found to be really invaluable, especially looking back right now that I understand. I didn't know, when I read Traction, I didn't know how important processes were. So because I read that book, processes became very normalized to me early on. And now that I consult and work with other business owners, I see that to them, that wasn't the angle that they came through. They just built a business around what they were already doing. I was a hairstylist, but I didn't have a trades business to process out yet. So that was one of my favorite ones that I read for business as well. And then a third one, let's see, a good one for business. People by You, I think is a good one because as a CEO, you never really get away from being the rainmaker of the company. It's you have to be, right? Because if there's no blood in the veins, there's nothing to process. And so I think that we can always delegate or automate out a lot of the different functions of operations and production. But when it comes to the energy and the magic that originally started and continues to grow the business and gets eyes on the business and is future focused on the business, that's us, right?
I get it. I love that.
So I like to say, keep making it rain and hand other people the buckets. Like they better be catching it behind you.
No, that's good.
You just keep on making it rain. So anyway,
back to the roofing.
Back to roofing. So I'm a hairstylist and I fall in love. I'm a single mom. Okay. I got 2 boys and I met my ex-husband. And at the time, he was traveling the country. So we were, for that stage in our life, we both made pretty decent middle-class money, right? We were making it. But he was traveling the country and he had moved in to my house where I already paid the bills as a single mom prior to that, right? And he had a little girl. And so all of a sudden, both of us had this relationship and this blended family that we had at that time. And we didn't want him to be on the road anymore. So even though his income at the time was double what mine was, we made a decision to live off of what I was bringing in, pay the bills, slow down in life to go faster, if you will.
You bet.
And one day I just said, what else do you do? Like, what kind of talents do you have? I mean,
gotta be something.
Yeah. What do you do? Because I tell find something you're good at and then you can build a business around it. Like how can you solve people's problems, right? And he's like, well, I mean, I can build things. You know, my last name is Garcia because I married into this last name. So to make the Gino, he was like, I grew up building houses with my uncle. You know, I can build things. So I had grown this network as a hairstylist where, I don't know if you know this, Roger, but people be telling their hairstylists everything.
Really, I never knew that.
I'm talking, I go through.
I still know secrets that would turn ladies' faces blood red.
Tell you what, right?
Yeah.
So those relationships that you build in that time, like, are deep. I mean, I do the whole family's hair by now. Like, they trust me with all of their deepest, darkest secrets. So, of course, they trust me, right? And so I just kind of started throwing out there, like, hey, we're doing construction now.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything.
Who needs something built?
That's it.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, man, if we can, whatever, we'll build a roof, we'll build a fence, whatever. We really don't need to do that much for our idea of success at the time. This can be little.
Yeah.
And we're going to make money, and we're going to live out here, and we're going to do the things, right? We're all going to be together. And that was the priority. And that first year of doing that, our gross revenue was $1 million. So that's when I looked up and I'm like, $1 million just ran through the bank account. Now I need to pay taxes on $1 million. I didn't track anything. Right. I had no expenses.
But you knew better than that too.
Yeah. Well,
as a hairstylist, you got to track your stuff.
I did. And to where, I don't want to say I didn't track anything, okay? I did have a spiral notebook, and I did have a Ziploc baggie stuffed full of receipts that were labeled in Sharpie markers.
Hey, good for you, though. That's better than a lot of tradespeople do these days.
You're right.
It is.
You're right. But that tax season, let me tell you what happens to those receipts after a year. The ink wears off. Yeah. So I remember trying to do taxes that year. I have everything laid out in the middle of the living room, and I can't even see the numbers on the receipts anymore because I hadn't categorized anything. Yep. It was a disaster, right? So that was kind of my 3 days of hell where I was like, Kimba, you need to get something together here. Like, if we're going to continue this party. Right after that, it was probably a year of me doing hair and just studying business, studying marketing, studying team building, study, read in my hammock doing the things. And one day.
It's a great office, though.
It was a great office.
If you're sitting in the hammock working, it's
Can't
not
even
a bad
complain.
day. I know.
But we weren't the business, even though we revenued $1 million. Here's what I like to, we didn't make nothing, right? So we're burning money, we're turning money, we're moving money, but we're not actually, I'm still paying the bills doing hair while also trying to teach myself business. And I remember this day because I know you know me, right? I'm crazy, right? Crazy.
Some of us have to be.
Exactly. And he chose that, right? But I still remember his face when I walked inside the house this one particular day. And I told him, I didn't even have enough money in the bank to pay the rent that was due in a couple of weeks, mind you, because we're just burning through what I'm making doing hair for groceries. And we got 3 kids by this point and all things. But I knew that if I didn't go all in, that we're never going to get out of that rut. Yep. And I knew that although he had the construction knowledge and talent, that I had now learned and taught myself business through the School of Hard Knocks in the library over here, right? And so, because this is really, there wasn't as much out there on YouTube. I mean, you're thinking this is 11 years ago. So maybe a little, but I mean, I'm reading books.
You bet.
And self-educating through it. And so I walked in and I said, so I'm not going to do hair anymore after this week. I'm done doing hair. I'm going to go all in on the construction company. His face turned white. Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I'm going all in. It's the only way we're going to do it. So I did. And we ended up, we stayed together for about a decade. We grew a roofing company here in Dallas, Fort Worth that, was a multiple 8-figure company. And eventually, that relationship dissipated. We got a divorce. My whole life, like the whole train just ran right off the tracks is what I like to say. Happens. I felt like I had built an empire. I'd had my dream home. We recently remodeled. I've got the cars and we've got the bikes and the boats and all the things, right? All of the things. And then, that happened in life. But that is initially how I got into the roofing industry, was really through him. That being his answer when I asked him, like, what else can you do? And then really me bridging in and learning business. When I got into insurance, so we actually started off doing more house flips. I started going to networking events because I didn't know.
Networking is amazing.
Networking.
I've grown businesses from network events.
I did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was going to real estate networking events because I realized there wasn't.
I used to host those.
You did?
As a plumber. I'd invite every real estate agent in town. We'll buy you drinks and appetizers. Come talk.
There you go. I hosted one for a little bit too, and then I went to other people's. And all of these real estate investors in there, they don't know anything about construction. So I'm like, we'll be your contractor.
Good
So I started managing these high-end house flips out in Highland Park here in Dallas. And we would have anywhere from maybe 5 to 10 of those going on at a time. It's funny because one of the original investors that I did the most work with, like he was actually texting me the other day. He invested with me out in Mexico too. We're partnering up to build a house out there in Alcamal this year. So like still a great relationship that I have, right? We're still making money together, baby. I love those people. Him and his wife are really great friends of mine today. But I wasn't making any money, honestly, doing house flips as the contractor. The investors are on a tight budget, but it taught me a lot. I was managing these high-end projects, and but I didn't know anything about insurance work until one day one of my old hair clients had called me, and she said, "Hey, girl, the insurance company bought my roof from a storm. Like, you guys do roofs?" I'm like, "I'll put up some shingles. Yeah, girl, I got you. I don't care who pays for it. You know what I mean? Santa Claus paid for it. I don't care.
Paper and shingles. We're good."
Yeah, like I got this. So I go out there and she shows me the estimate that her insurance company gave her. And that was the first time that I was like, RCV, ACV, depreciation, net claim, deductible. What the hell does any of that even mean? And how much money are they giving this lady for this roof? Like what? There's so many numbers here. Again, pre anything being out there on YouTube, I'm driving around
to make it make sense.
I'm like, and eventually it's like, aha, right? But when I saw the margins on insurance work versus the margins on, and of course, especially back then, insurance has become a little bit of a beating, but yeah, over the flips, I was like, oh man, I got something else I need to learn. And so I did. So I started buying into education around insurance, really flipped our business model into that. Ended up learning how to recruit and train. And next thing you know, my little bubbly personality is up here training all of these salespeople on ACV, RCV depreciation, net claim. Let's go, baby. And you know, my sales team over the course of that decade-ish of my life, however long it was, you know, I really consistently had a large team of anywhere between 20 and 30 sales reps that I really never took that hat off, that I stayed our main recruiter. I stayed our main, at least an office trainer. I do also climb roofs, and but I had a sales manager in place for a lot of that time.
You on roofs every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually like to climb roofs.
I get it.
Yeah. Which is funny because in that company, I climbed roofs, but I had people to climb roofs. I mean,
you don't climb roofs in the shoes you have on today, do you?
No, but did you see my post where I used AI? I'm in like my Christmas outfit, so I'm in these little pink heels, and I just had ChatGPT take this picture.
Put you on a roof.
Yeah, I mean, because right now I have a lead generation company for roofers, so I was just making a little marketing post, right? And I'm like, ChatGPT, make this a roofing post. I gave it a real generic prompt, and that's just what it had came up with, and I posted it. The internet just broke their mind, telling me how dangerous and unprofessional I am being on the roof in these heels. I'm like, guys, welcome to 2026, baby. It's AI.
You can make it look like you're doing anything. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that was fun. But that's really how I got into roofing, got into insurance. But I'll tell you, after I restarted a new company, separated from that company situation, and I'm just going to say like life timeline, right?
You bet.
That timeline cut off, and now
try something new.
I'm over here in life. Yep. So I decide by now I've learned construction. I've been doing this for a decade, right? I mean, I've been by now I've been in construction the same amount of time that I did hair before. And I felt like I was at my peak career in hair. You know, I'm like, I just couldn't even be any better than, I mean, where else am I going to go from here? That. Right. Yep. So 10 years later, I mean, I've got the confidence. I've got the knowledge. I know construction. I've climbed roofs. I've met adjusters. I've project managed builds. I've ordered materials. I've scheduled crews. I've managed subcontractors. I've vetted subcontractors. I've ran the whole business side of it, the whole marketing side of it. I've recruited people. I've done like, what have I not do in this business? Literally from being the CEO to cleaning the toilet. I've been inside of homes where I've been inside of flip houses. Again, I'm a little crazy, but my crew, there was a house that one of our investors bought that was so disgusting, it should have been condemned. There's no reason. I agree with them that human beings. So the guys wouldn't even go in there. I mean, we had to get them hazmat suits to even go in there. You know who went in there and started demoing first?
I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm talking sledgehammers.
Just give me a bandana to put over my nose.
Y'all won't go in there and do the bathroom? Watch me go. Yeah. I'll go in there and do the bathroom.
I'm
not
afraid of it.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah.
But I've done all of it. So I just decided that instead of, trying to stay in a situation that just wasn't really good for anybody involved, including myself or anybody else, that I'll just do it again.
I love that.
I'll just start over from the bottom and I'll just build it again. But that's what you got to do sometimes. Mm-hmm.
Take just a second. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Yeah.
And how they can get in touch with you, whatever, to work with you or learn from you or whatever.
Love it. Well, I am Kimba Garcia. I do a lot on social media, specifically Facebook and Instagram. So that's a really good place to go follow, connect. Today, I just like to say, Roger, like when people ask me that question, I just kind of laugh because I'm like, by now I'm just Kimba.
I do it all.
Man. Yeah. And I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an investor. I'm a free spirit. I'm a mom. I do consulting work. I own a couple of different companies. Last year I started my lead company and my capital company. I have my real estate company in Mexico. I'm still involved with my roofing company that I built and sold, and multiple other ones across the country that I work with. And so, I guess what do I do? Like I solve problems and I notice gaps, whether it's in the market or inside of companies, and I build solutions where I feel like that I can genuinely do something better than what's currently there. That's why I started my capital company and my lead generation company last year, because there's a lot of room in this space. Like roofing companies need lines of credit because if they do insurance work, their money is slow right now. Right. It's slow. So how do you bridge those gaps? We didn't really have a solution like that outside of like MCAs, which I don't like. I think they tank small business owners, and most of your small business owners can't just walk into a bank and get a loan. So I just noticed this reoccurring problem in the companies that I was doing consulting with, that like cash flow is always a problem. And I remember being that business owner that would lay awake at night, literally cry because I didn't have financial backing.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, like I have all these people's families that depend on me. And like, we didn't reel in any of the AR that we needed to this week. And like, I mean, I could cry right now talking about like, how are we even going to pay them on Friday? And then how are they going to buy groceries for their kids this weekend? And to wake up with that on your chest.
Oh, I know. Or not go to sleep at night. Just lay there and wake all. I've been there.
And it gets to this is what I'm talking about when I'm like, people build their own prison. They build their own hell, like unknowingly chasing a dream to.
Oh yeah, they think they're building their dream. Mm-hmm. It looks that way when they start. Mm-hmm. And then they realize I built myself a job that I can't take a day off. I can't walk away from. I can't close my eyes or blink because the whole thing will change or fall apart.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they probably haven't read traction. They probably don't have the processes, right? But like they have the heart, the spirit, the creativity. They're hard workers. Like I love entrepreneurs. Like y'all are my people.
You bet.
And I know how that feels to be laying in bed at night going, what am I going to do? Mm-hmm. What am I going to do? So I'm like, that's what I do. I see that. And I said, I'm like, and I see that and I see it again and I see it again and I see it again. And I see opportunity right there to help, but to also turn that into a business that I can process out and plug people into that need that level of support.
And you do it with an energy that a lot of people don't have.
Thank you.
I do. I love watching your videos, reading your posts, things like that.
Thank you.
You love what you do. Mm-hmm. And you can see it from the outside. You also study people. You're NLP, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure DISC, PCM. Have you ever heard of PCM?
I haven't.
It's like DISC. It's like 100 years newer or 50 years newer. It teaches you there's 6 different personality styles. Learn what they are.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, mine's on the wall. You can look at it when you walk out.
Okay.
But it tells you what kind of people they are. And I teach it in a way, speak to people in their language.
Exactly.
If you're speaking to an engineer, he's calculating, he's precise, he wants to know every little detail. If you're speaking to a high D, which is a promoter in PCM, if I ask you, Kimba, how much is it? Next words out of your mouth better be a number.
It better be the number.
You can say it's $20 million. Can I tell you why it's so expensive? I'll be absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good. Just you gave me what I asked for.
I teach my sales teams. D is for direct information, baby.
I'm a high D, but I think the people at tell me that, think D stands for something completely different.
I also use another word in my trainings too.
That's the one. That's the one we're talking about.
I'm like, think Marine Corps. They open it because I teach it door to door. So I'm like, this is how a D answers the door. Hello?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah, you open
and
the door.
You better just tell them.
What do you need?
Exactly. Yeah. And you better just tell them what you need quick. But I actually love selling to Ds because they're very confident people, which makes them fast decision makers. Yeah. You're not going to follow up with them for 6 weeks. They're either going to buy from you today or you get to keep moving. Yeah. You don't have to waste a bunch of time on a D. You're going to know right now if they're buying or not.
And if you'll take it to PCM, where it's process communication model, it's even deeper.
Nice.
And it's, you know what words to listen for. You know what words to say.
Ooh,
and it's magic. I mean, it really is. And you know, I tell people the thing, if you walked in to sell me a water heater and I say, how much is it? Well, number one, the next words out of your mouth better be a number. Because if you start off, well, Roger, let me tell you, if you buy this water heater, it's going to feed 10 families in China for the next 2 years. I'm like, you can leave. You didn't tell me what I needed to hear. My ex-wife, Julie, if she says, how much is it? You say, well, if you buy this water heater, it'll feed 10 families in China the next 6 years. She'd be saying, give me 2 of them.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Julie, you only need one. She says, yeah, but I'll save the other one. I'll use it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to feed these families.
Yeah.
And
I've met Julie. I can see that. What a beautiful hearted person.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, she is. Yes. She's amazing.
Yes.
But it's a different way our personalities see things.
That's right.
And we want to hear it. We want to be spoken to in our language. And that's what I teach tradespeople, because I think once you learn that, you can talk to anyone.
Game changer.
It really is. So you grow a roofing company. Or let's say this. You start a roofing company, grow it, you lose it, you start a new one. You just, what made you want to be good at what you did? Because a lot of people these days that get into it, they want to check. That's all they want. They don't care if they're good. Just show me how to make money. And I get sick when I see that. What made you want to be really, really good?
I think that I'm one of these people that really just I enjoy the process of continuing to see what's possible next. I enjoy the process of building out the processes, putting the right people in place, and then letting the engine build, running it as hard as I can run it, seeing what breaks, fixing it, running it again. It's like my ex-husband and his diesel racing. I never could figure out why we ran that truck down the tracks just to break that $50,000 motor, just to go rebuild it again overnight so we could do it again the next day. But we did that all over the country. But I do that in business. I mean, I like to build an engine. I like to run it as hard as I can down the track. I like that process. Like you could say a diesel racer likes the process of breaking the motor, you know? I enjoy that. It's why sometimes they ask me like why I have so many things going on and why do I have my hands in so many different things? And I'm like, it's because I built out people, processes, and teams. And now I have to, this one's currently running down the track.
It's running smooth.
Yeah, and I need data back from that pass. So I have to let this pass happen so I can get the data back so I know where to drive that one next. And in the meantime, I'm building another one over here.
I got a whole new engine over here I'm working on.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm already out in the garage while this one's going down the track. And then when I'll send this one down the track and I'll go plug in whatever goes on. But it's that process of building that I really fell in love with. Then I started realizing that I had an opportunity to impact people. And I'm not saying I've never got sidetracked on like shiny things, but my soul and my heart has always seen the fact that I have an opportunity to do more than just, when you're a single mom, all you're really focusing on is like, can I put food in the fridge and can I keep the lights on? Yep. So when I saw that I had an opportunity to not only keep the lights on, but it started with my kids. Oh, wow. Like I can build a floor, or my ceiling will be their floor, and I can build that for them. Then I got to a point where I'm like, oh, wow, it's actually not outside of my opportunity realm to retire my parents who don't have that in place. Right. And I actually have a mom, and then I have a dad and another mom, right? So when I say my parents, I have 3 parents.
Oh, I've been there.
So now I'm like, oh wow, like I really believe that I have the opportunity to take care of one generation up and one generation down. And I started learning about trust and proper structure and how to structure my companies properly. So I'm like, wow, I can actually leave behind something that and I'm teaching my kids how already we have, like they know what a trust is. They know we have one. And I'm like, it really doesn't even matter like what I put into it in their lifetime, right? It's like that existing and having any real estate in it or any companies in it or any investment accounts in it is the ceiling that gets to be the kid's floor. And then the next generation gets to operate inside of that. And then the next generation gets to operate inside of that. And that's how you keep legacy building long term. And so then I saw, wow, I get to be that one. My trust is, I called it Monarch Legacy Trust because I love elephants, and in elephant tribes, it's actually the women that lead the tribe. And the women all take care of all of the babies, like as a communal thing. And they're very intelligent and compassionate animals. And so you see, if one elephant's in trouble, the whole tribe goes over there. And you see those videos of them like pulling the babies out of the mud and all that. But I like to say that's my spirit animal, because I feel like I'm getting to lead my herd into a generational, I don't even like to call it like it, not a financial change, but I think that it's a different mindset moving forward, and in a different way to look at life and play with life a little bit, if you will. So when I realized, oh, I can do that. And right now, to be honest with you, I'm like, wow, I have an opportunity to build an eco-friendly, self-sustainable, conscious living community in the middle of the jungle where I have pesticide-free food, I have fresh water, I have solar power. We have no infrastructure from the outside government going on at all. I can fit 500 families in here with me. I am starting to see that God is opening doors for opportunities for me to be able to impact at global levels when it comes to being able to help get resources into communities that don't currently have it, and relationships and people that you mentioned NLP a minute ago. I'm also currently studying for my master's degree in metaphysical science. I've got my curriculum done up to the bachelor's, but on a spiritual playing field, when I see people, I see like through the body, and like I like to say I see people in reverse, because I see their energy, I see their soul, I see their potential. And so now I'm seeing this opportunity where I'm like, wow, I get the opportunity to remind people about their truth and help them remember who they really are and how capable they are, and be part of a collective mission that I really believe is God's mission, that we do all have a calling in. And so it's funny how it just starts, like how something can start from like, how do I just keep the lights on, man? Just keep the lights on, to now I'm like, let's go change the world. Yeah. Y'all want to just go change the world? And so I guess it was just that progression of I like to say things get clear as they get closer, and God's purpose on my life has definitely been doing that. So I fell in love with being great, because it just continued to, the next thing got clear and I had fun with it. And the next thing got clear, I accepted the assignment, I had fun with it. And I just haven't stopped doing that.
Yeah, and the neat thing is the way you do it, run the diesel engine until it breaks. Well, now you figure out what broke it. Mm-hmm. And now the next one, it's not going to break at this point. We're going to be able to get further with it.
We only solve problems one time.
Yeah.
That's what I tell all my teams that. Do not even bring me the same thing twice. You bring it to me the first time where I solve the problem. And it's not going to break again. Something else will. Something else will break. We'll fix that one too.
Then we'll figure it out.
My son and I were talking about that on the way here. He just went to his first ever roofing conference with me, because that's the cool thing about the kid being your content creator right now.
Which ones y'all go to?
SRC.
Okay.
Which I'll tell you is the only one in our industry ran by a female. So shout out to my girl, April Hall, for putting on that beautiful conference for us all, getting my son to be there and to swim around an entrepreneur type of environment like that. It was already blowing his mind, right? But on the way here, he said something to me that he got from that conference in an interview that I did there. And he said, you just fail fast, fix it, and keep moving, right, Mom? And I'm like, that's exactly right. You run it till it breaks. You found what breaks. You fix it. You run it again. Something else will break, but you know that before you put it on the check. Like that's, so many people get emotionally attached to that process, right? Or like every time we find a hole in our business, it just hurts our ego so bad. Right. It's like, how is this happening? Perfect. Well, yeah. And it's like, it sucks, because you're like, oh, this employee is screwing this up and this is costing me like there's a sense of anger that goes into this process, right? When I learned how to turn that off, like now, I was talking to a friend yesterday and I was like, look, man, like I just have to have fun. It keeps me balanced, right? Otherwise I will get stressed out. And let me tell you, if I allow myself to go on that side of the energy track, I am way less creative.
It goes downhill quick.
I'm way less capable.
Yes.
I don't even have the strength to move on, right? But if I turn on my music, I listened to my hype song 2 or 3 times on the way here to this interview today, and I was jamming, and my kid knows me, so he's over here kind of giggling at me or whatever, because he knows what I'm doing. I mean, I'm like, I got my energy ready, right?
Let's go. So what is your song?
Right now, it's called, I would have to look at what my girlfriend just sent it to. Step Into Your Power.
Okay.
That's what it's called. I listen to not really mainstream music either. But
mine is Man on a Mission.
Love that. Mine changed. So this is a newer. She sent me that song maybe like 2 months ago, my friend Jordan, and she said, this is such a Kimba song, girl. You've got to listen to it.
Don't you love that?
And I did, because I was like, oh, that girl knows me. So but stepping into this season that I'm in, because I am just going bigger this year, Good. And so in that song, she's like, step into your power, let the world feel your fire, you feel your grace. And that's what I've been leading with right now. I'm like, I'm coming. Like, Good. The world feels my fire, but inside here, like, all I feel is my grace, right? And so when I heard that song, it really hit. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is if I can get myself in a good flow and in a happy place, and where I go into, I know that the engine is now back in the shop because it broke. And instead of going in there and getting pissed off at it and kicking the tools all around the garage for the next 3 hours, cussing at it,
which we've all done in the past.
For sure.
No, I know.
I mean, yeah, but that's what was making business not fun for me anymore. I was like, this isn't fun anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Yep. It sucks. But when I was able to get my energy right, we talk so much about mindset, and you hear it all the time, and it's like almost sounds cliche, but it's one of those things where maybe let's change the language, right? It's just everything's language, right? But like, set your energy, get in your flow, start having some fun, and then walk in there. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times when I'm going through spreadsheets, numbers, and I'm setting an intention to go find like what's breaking. And I'll tell you, this is good too. My old roofing company, I'm doing, $12 million a year in revenue, and I'm making less money than I was at 5 million. Wow. Profit wise.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, why?
And at 5 million, you should be clearing about $1 million. Mm-hmm. At 12,
I wasn't doing nothing, man. Yeah. Like, honestly,
you're getting close to 3.
Yeah. Yeah. I was nowhere near that. I mean, maybe I'm clearing 300 grand. Like, wow. It's sinking. And I can't find where it's broken. And so I had to go through this painful diagnosis process. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I found? It was the craziest thing. I like to word it like this. I found that I did not have a slash across my neck, which is what I kept looking for. Where's the wound? Where's the wound? Where's the wound? Where's the wound? It was a bunch of tiny paper cuts all over the business. It was areas of overhead. Overhead was the biggest problem. Too high overhead. Too glittery, too fancy, didn't need. Where are we spending money that doesn't actually, it's not a cost of goods, and it's not required to run the company. Right. There, of course, I found places where we were wasting, where we could have tightened up, where all those things are. But I'm like, man. So now I call it, okay, I'm going to look for the paper cuts. And what mindset does Kimba need to be in before she goes and finds all of the little tiny paper cuts all over? Because it's not fun unless I learn to label it as fun.
Kimba at that point.
Yeah.
It's, hey.
Unless I choose to, because now that's my game, right? I go into it and I'm like, every time I find a paper cut, I got a point.
You bet. Yeah.
I'm playing a game where gamify. Yeah, then we'll go to your gun safe there. Like, yep.
Exactly.
I want another shot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want another one, so I got to find something quick. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Yep. So when I started learning to gamify business and have fun with it, it got a lot funner. And then I started actually enjoying that process like a psychopath. So.
Okay. Take a minute again. Mm-hmm. Tell everybody who you are and what all you do.
Okay.
And how they can get in touch with you or find you.
Sure. Kimba Garcia. Actually, I just launched my new website. It's
nice looking too. I like that. I stalk you.
Thank you.
Just to see what's going on. No, you do things good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do.
I love observing what other people do, and you're one I look at.
Thank you. I do appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So www.kimba-co.com is my new website. So that website I built specifically to kind of encompass I'm going to say everything I do, but really everything that I am. The top of my website starts out that way. Like, this is just what I've spent 37 years becoming. And it's encompassing from what I do with metaphysical science, NLP, kind of because I believe business is spiritual. I believe life is spiritual. To me, that side of it is more real than this experience that we're sitting in right now. And I really lead with that. For a while, I really viewed that more as my feminine essence, and maybe my trades and my business side of me as my masculine essence, if you will. And I couldn't really figure out how to keep that duality between the two. So they were almost separate. And it was hard for me to talk about when people ask me, what do you do, Kimba? Because I'm like, well, on where?
I do everything.
What do you want? I mean,
yes, no, I like that.
Because what I study and how I make money is not in the same realm unless you understand it from my perspective, where business has been entrepreneurship has been a spiritual journey for me.
You bet.
And when I started my roofing company, it was at the same time when I really started pushing into, which is funny because business led me closer to God in the way. I'll tell you that when people follow me, they'll say I'm into yoga and meditation, and
it's like, oh my God, you do everything.
That side of things, and I also, I'm certified to teach yoga, right? I mean, when I fall in love with something, I nerd out on it, right? So I just do that in so many different ways that it's just become this encompassing version of who I am. But the stress of entrepreneurship, like we were talking about, I taught myself how to meditate so that I could learn how to regulate my stress levels naturally. I'm writing a book right now too, Roger. I don't know if you saw that. But a lot of this is going to be in my book. And this is what I love talking about. I mean, roofing's cool, but I really like talking about this because at 26, I did start a roofing company with my ex-husband. At that season in my life, right before that, I went through a really challenging custody battle. There was a lot of cortisol that got dumped into this little brain in a short period of time. My season before that, I was a single mom. I had my 18-year-old boy that now is my content creator. I had him when I was his age. And I never got child support. I never got state aid. My family has a lot of love and will always help me where they can. But I had to work to support us.
You got to suck it up, buttercup.
Yeah. Yep. And so that was a stress from a young age, and so much stress just dumps cortisol into our brains. And then we start labeling it like NLP, for anybody that doesn't know, is neuro-linguistic programming. Yep. So it's the science behind how both internal and external language affects the wiring of our subconscious mind. And in this process, as we experience trauma or stress, our brain is supposed to release cortisol because it helps you survive those moments. Like if the bear's chasing me, I need to not sleep. I need to go fast. I need that feeling that you get. It's not time
to just sit down and relax.
Nope, not that. Yeah. But cortisol is the most addictive chemical that we found. It's more addictive than even methamphetamines. It's more addictive than nicotine. So you think about a cigarette, and that's why people get addicted to drama. They get addicted to stress. They get addicted to chaos.
I've dated girls like that are just like, it did not matter how great a day it was. All they see is the drama and all this, and it's just like,
because their brain wakes up in the morning, and there may be people out here listening that I used to wake up in the morning instantly like, you're just looking for this guy to fall. Like, what's going to go wrong today? Where's the problem today? And it's like the blue car, Roger. It's like, if you go look for the blue car, you'll find a blue car. If you go look for gratitude and love today and opportunity today, you'll find it. Mm-hmm. But my brain wasn't doing that. It was so addicted to cortisol that it was looking for its next hit. What do I need? Where's my stimulus that's going to give me my cortisol?
What's going to get me jumping and running?
So next thing you know, the world tells you need therapy and you need drugs and you need all these things. Well, I like to refer to her as the monster inside of myself, but that version of me was so loud that I got to a point where I'm like, I've either got to figure this out or, I was at the point of being suicidal. I'm like, I'm going to have to, if I got to get rid of me to get rid of her, she's got to go. Right. That's all there is to this. But I'm a nerd. So before, I wrote this in my book.
I'm going to outstudy her.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I literally wrote in my book that the way that I got through this season in my life was I literally looked at myself in the mirror and I said, you know what? You can die later. Let's try to figure it out first, though.
I like that.
And I started studying. And I ended up going down a rabbit hole of quantum physics. I found neurolinguistic programming. I'm like, it's time for me to trade, Roger. Sorry about that. But I started studying all these things. And what I realized was I'm like, okay, so depression, anxiety is really an addiction to cortisol. And how do I break an addiction to cortisol? Naturally is through community, is through love, is through gratitude. I started learning how to focus on my breath and let chemicals in my brain even back out before I reacted. I started being able to psychologically feel in my body what stress was doing to it and use that as an anchor for me to hold. But I had to learn how to hold.
Some people can't do it.
Right there. A lot of people can't do it. It takes practice. Yeah. And so I started learning how to meditate for that specific reason. Is I'm like, man, if I'm going to get through all the things I'm trying to get through right now, right, then I'm going to have to figure this out. So I started with like 5-minute meditations and just paying attention to the pause between the inhale and the exhale and warm air in and cold air out, and practiced instead of judging my thoughts or being lost in my thoughts. I started just letting them, I just observed them and they could just pass like clouds. And if it was something important, I started thinking, you know what, Kimba, of course you're thinking about what's for dinner tonight. You love your kids. Of course you're thinking about business. You care about your employees. Watch them and let them pass so you can pick, this is only 5 minutes. That will still be there in 5 minutes.
You bet.
And that started serving me so well in my entrepreneur journey when I got those 4 words like, the sky's falling. I could literally be like, pause.
We'll catch it later.
But the crazy thing is, that's why I started. That's where I started that. But the crazy thing is that when we be quiet, God talks. And I didn't expect that. When I started meditating, when I learned how to shut up mentally, because I never knew how to do that before. My 80,000 thoughts a day your average human has, and how many people are even paying attention to what those? A lot of that's just autopilot.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever you thought about yesterday, you thought about again, and eventually you go 80 years and call that your life. At that time, I didn't understand neuroplasticity. I didn't understand changing my environments, going to places where people speak different languages, where I have to think. I didn't understand the blessing of critical thinking or of the chemical release when I hug my babies and I intentionally set in that, like, there's that cortisol girl, like, let's get it.
And it's a completely different feeling though.
Oh yeah.
It's the same energy, the same excitement, but it's not stress.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the antidote to stress. That's the beautiful part. And what it's doing inside your brain is a chemical response. And that's what's so cool about it. I started learning that, but that's what's so crazy is I was like, when science led me back to God, right? Because I just started receiving such clear guidance from God when I just was quiet. And now I'm so convinced and I'm like, God is always talking. Or however you experience that, right? Like whatever the universe is speaking to us, but the universe is God's mirror of creation that God is still speaking through always. So I'm like, people just think I'm wild, and I know I am, and it is what it is, but like, I'm like, God, what are you doing tonight, Kimba? I'm talking to the moon. The moon actually told me it has a lot of things to say to me, but I love the moon. So of course, why would God not speak to me through the moon? Right. I love the moon, right? And so now I have such an awareness that I'm like, God will speak to me in any way that I am willing to listen. That's how much God loves me so much. As long as I will just be quiet and whatever I'm open to. God has spoken to me through the ocean. That's why I love Playa del Carmen.
I love the water.
If I'm really feeling cortisol hits to my brain right now, y'all see me and my people do, and you probably have to, Roger, where it's like, Kimba didn't even tell anybody she was going to Mexico.
Oh, I've been there, yes.
I packed a backpack. I can't tell you how many times I've just packed a backpack and I just went to the airport and I've just flown because I knew that I needed to just get somewhere that I could very clearly hear God. And there was one time that God took me on probably a 3-mile walk down the beach in Playa del Carmen and didn't say a word to me the whole time. Made me fly all the way, told me, I heard it. Go to Mexico. We have some stuff to talk about. You need to go on the walk on the beach. Didn't say a word to me the whole time. I'm like, God, right? I didn't get nothing, man. Like, and then I turn around and I start walking back because it was crazy. There was this random moment where I like felt, really I hear God, not through words, feelings, right? It's like, and when you're intuitive to that, it's like, okay.
It's there.
It's there. It's always there. And I think people forget that, but it's always there. Your next move is always there. You said that a while
ago when I came back to God. It's like, no, God never left.
God never left. It's funny because I said that to somebody yesterday too, right? Where it's like, but I did get closer. Because I grew up through a framework of religion. And I just came to realize through that process, like when I say came back, you're right, I never left. God never can leave us because we are it and it is us and we're all connected. And that's what I came to realize through that journey of meditation is I'm like, it is always here. It's always here. He's everywhere. It's always like omniscient is such a strange thing for the human brain to conceptualize, right? It's like, it just is always here. Yep. And so that's what I mean by like not that I came back, but that I went deeper because I realized that like God is the only truth.
Okay, so hold on. You're walking back on Playa del Carmen and you got a feeling.
Yes. So it's like turn around now and go back. And I'm like, all right. So I do. Another couple hours, but I mean, I've been trucking for a minute, right?
You bet.
The sun's starting to go down. I see a storm kind of far away. It's starting to roll in. I'm walking back. I'm not a scaredy cat. We've already established that in this podcast, right? Everything's fine. But where I had walked, I mean, there were certain places where it wasn't a beach. There was like rocks and a palm tree that had fallen down. And like I went off the beaten path, you know. And I'm walking back to my beach club. Right. Mario's beach club. I left Mungata. And I'm walking back to this beach club. And all of a sudden the storm's getting closer and it's getting darker and it starts lightning and thundering and it starts raining on me. And I'm literally on this concrete, like there's like this concrete retaining wall that has a bunch of rocks. And I'm having to like walk on the rocks to get where I need to go. Uh-huh. And there's waves just
coming at you,
start crashing at me. And I'm like, oh man, like, and I just hear God, keep going. And moments before that storm, like really, really, I mean, I'm telling you, I hit that beach club like at the right moment, right? Like, or just right at the end of I'm like, man, had I stayed out there 5 more minutes, like I probably really would have been in a different situation than I'm in right now. Yeah. Like, and Kim is not a strong swimmer. So y'all know I have lots of talents and that is not, I still plug my nose when I go underwater. I swear. I wakeboard and stuff.
That is funny.
I cannot swim though. Like
that is funny.
I wear my life jacket and I'll jump up, grab my wakeboard. You'll notice in videos, if you ever see me wakeboard, before I hit the water, I still plug my nose. So I did not want to go under the salt water. I would have been in trouble. But I had this feeling when I got there that, and it wasn't in English, right? It was this sense of knowing that everything is always in perfect timing, Kimba. It's not always like all you're supposed to be doing is listening. Yep. And you're supposed to pivot when I say and trust the timing of me.
I love that.
And that was the message. But that's like, sometimes that's how God speaks to me. And my journey of being an entrepreneur still, I feel like keeps me listening and building and in that process. So now it's really great because I really feel like when I say that I'm building an alignment now, I'm really building towards the places that I believe that God wants to use me in business.
I heard I think it was an NFL or college football coach on ESPN one day talking. And somebody asked him, said, if you could teach your kids anything, what would it be? And he says, I would teach them that when God talks to you, he doesn't scream and yell at you. Mm-hmm. It's a little whisper way back here in the corner of your ear. Mm-hmm. And if you're quiet and you listen, you can hear it.
Yes.
But then it's up to you to do something with it. Mm-hmm. And I wish I could remember that, or who it was, because I would go back and play it play it again. Because... yeah, I'm like that. When God talks to me, it's just something is just all of a sudden it's like,
And you know,
I got to do this. Right.
You know it's not you because it's usually something that you're human, you would not do.
Yes.
You're like, God, that really makes me feel like really uncomfortable. But yeah, that's how I know. Cause I'm like, well, that feels a little uncomfortable to me, or I don't know. I wouldn't have chosen to do that.
Right.
I've done some of the craziest things that it was so funny. One time people were like, Kimba, why are you going to Florida? And I'm like, I literally don't know why I'm going to Florida, but I feel like I'm supposed to be in Florida. And when I get to Florida, I'll know.
You bet. We'll figure it out when we get there. I love that.
And that's literally how I float through my existence now is I'm like, you know, that's what I'm following. So
I'm here because I'm supposed to be.
That's it. Yeah. And I'll be there when I'm supposed to get there.
Tell me about the best day you've ever had at work. The best day. The greatest thing that happened.
Oh, man. You know, I have had so many great days, but as you asked me that question, kind of my first initial pop-offs, if you will, come down to running my sales meetings with my sales team. Multiple meetings are like flashing in front of my head, but I've always ran what became known as like very passionate sales meetings with my sales team, to the point where my material supplier used to ask me if he could like invite people to come.
Right.
I mean, it started being more like an event than a weekly sales meeting, you know? But through that process, I had my team start building out their vision boards. And so we made like a collective vision board in the office. And every time that I would see somebody accomplish something that was on their vision board, you know, like I saw one of my sales reps buy their first house and buy a dream boat, and they started investing in real estate, and a couple of them remodeled their houses. And I think it was those days at the office of kind of getting to collectively celebrate those milestones together that really come to mind first. And then there's a group ran by my friends Emma and Katie. It's a really great Facebook group for women in roofing specifically. I left all of the other roofing groups because it's just wild up in there, but these ladies are so positive and they're so helpful to each other. So I went in there the other day. I'm like, man, every time I pass by y'all's group, it's always positive, right? And so I said, I would like to offer my time. I'm going to start coming in here 11 o'clock on Mondays. I'm going to do a live video. Any questions you guys want to ask me, anything we want to build out together, like I'm just here. I'm just here for y'all. I'm just here. They loved it too. I had a really great response. But I was sharing with them, my first video that I did in that group was on Monday. And one of the things that I shared with them that I loved that I used to do was our Christmas in July. So I would have a Christmas tree in the office and I would wrap presents underneath there. And if they filed a claim or they signed a roofing contract, then they got to choose one of the presents underneath the tree.
That's pretty cool.
And then you'd open it, and then the next person in line, you know, white elephant style, could either pick or steal. Mm-hmm. But it were just, you know, whether it was a gift card or maybe Beats headphones or like something that they would enjoy getting. But those moments in there with my sales team, kind of celebrating their milestones, playing the little funny games that I had made up, and those were definitely some of my favorite like days at work, if you will.
No, it's good. It's nice to have the positive thoughts about stuff like that. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are just like, it's just another meeting. Yeah. Tell me about the worst day you've ever had at work.
Probably going back to, recently I had a really bad day at work. And by day at work, it's now my home office, Roger. So a really bad day at work. So I'm not one of those people that hyper stresses out about my bank statements on a regular basis. I don't like living that way. I'm not working for the money right now, right? It's like, but there's a time to sit down and do your numbers.
You bet.
And in November, usually I'll sit down at the end of the month and kind of do my numbers for the month. And of course you've got your, numbers at you, but deep dive into the month. Well, I had went and spent time in Houston with my family for Thanksgiving, and I just didn't do it for a couple of weeks. To be honest with you, I'm just like spending time with the fam. It's the holidays.
This is what we're here for.
Yep. So in the middle of December, I went through and I found out that my employee, my assistant, that had been with me for not consistently, but I had brought her back when I started this roofing company, but she was with me at my other roofing company. I'd say we've had a really close personal relationship for over 4 years. And I use my tap pay on my phone. And so my debit card was nowhere, but I thought my debit card was in my desk in my office where I had it, where I would keep it. And I don't carry a purse. I don't care. I walk in here with a purse, right? Like I don't really carry a purse because I have that tap thing on in my tap wallet or whatever. So I didn't notice that my card was missing, and she had been going to the ATM and took out $15,000 out of the bank account before I caught it. And you know how it is when you have people that you work with that are close to you. I think I can tell your energy that you are likely the type of person that says, hey, do you guys need anything? Is everybody okay? Is there anywhere I can help? And when you are that kind of leader and somebody chooses to steal from you, it doesn't hurt about the money. Yep. I had to make a decision for the bank fraud. They told me that to open a fraud case, I had to file charges. And that was such a everybody told me, Kimba, of course you have to press charges on her. Of course you do. I weighed out the option of just letting the money go, because to have to put somebody, and I mean, I'm thinking about her daughter and it's not her fault. And I just laid in bed crying over this, and this feeling that I had over that. I just felt so stabbed in the back and so hurt over the fact that that had happened. And for me, that has been the hardest part about business so far. The best part about business so far has been the worst part about business so far. I genuinely love my people and I care about my people. And when I have a team, to me, it feels like family. And what I've come to learn is sometimes when you're the one that signs the paychecks, they may pretend like that's mutual, but it's not.
Yeah. And it's tough. Mm-hmm. Last question.
Ready.
You graduate high school 20 years ago, whenever, get out of school, graduate or not, it doesn't matter. Today, you walk to that front door and you see little Kimba come walking out. It's the morning after graduation. Life is starting. What advice do you give her?
You are already everything that you need to be. The process from here is more, as much as you love to learn, little Kimba, as much as you love to learn, your success is going to come from everything that you unlearn from here moving forward. And if I would have spent as much time earlier on unlearning some things as much as I did learning things, I think that I would have learned how to gamify the process earlier and how to have fun. I guess I was trying to say I would have heard God sooner. I would have got quiet sooner, and I just would have listened for that guidance instead of feeling like I had to figure it all out all the time. I was always learning because I just had to figure it all out, right? Who else was I going to count on? It was fear-based. It wasn't God-based. God doesn't operate in fear. God operates in faith. And I wish I would have uncliched that statement a little bit and understood what walking in faith really was, because it was remembering that, like you said earlier, Roger, like, God never left me the whole time, and God is here driving the plan. And when you can have faith in that, and you can move in your creativity, and you can believe in your gifts because they were given to you from God, it's not being egotistical to be able to be confident and to believe in what God created you to be and to walk powerfully in that mission. And I think that there was a lot of fear that held her back early on. And if I could help her walk in that level of confidence, knowing that God always has her covered. Today, it's so funny because I'm not a big single woman floating around the world, right? Like, and it's been amazing to me how many protectors that I made a post today about, there's two men in my life. There's actually multiple men in my life that protect, that I feel,
right,
from my dad to my brother-in-law to close friends to business associates. But there was two particular close people to me that were at the conference that I was at. And I had somebody walk, one of the first things that somebody said to me at the conference when they walked by me was, "Hey, Kimba, if there's any drama in here today, it wasn't me." It's kind of messing with me, right? My instant reaction, I looked up and I go, "Oh, there won't be."
Yeah.
And I knew that because I knew who God had planted in the room. And I was like, you'd be out of your mind to think anybody's about to mess with me in here.
Yeah.
But it's been all the way down to something like God has me always covered, always protected. God uses other people as a vessel of his blessings. When we get quiet, God is always talking. It's such a beautiful realization that I even just yesterday, had, that I'm always protected. I'm always covered. I'm always guided. And if I continue to follow that, then I'll become everything that God called me to be.
Thank you so much for coming. This has been fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
It has been, Roger. Thank you so much for having me. I know we've been trying to get this done. So it feels really good to be here right now.
Does.
I'm like, yeah, this was great. Thank you.
It does.